Good morning. I am on 30 minutes early today. Reason being is that I couldn't sleep because my entire house smells like wood smoke. So I'm a little bit tired today. We've been having pretty abnormal weather here. We've had a heat wave in northern Ontario that's burning everything down. So the air quality has been pretty bad outside. Everything smells like smoke. There's even ash drifting from the sky. But we're here anyways. Now it's 6:30, and I just missed this big push on NXTC, which would have been nice for a break of 585 there. But this chart is extremely extended right now because we have 6 5-minute green candles in a row. And we just broke above the 200 EMA on the daily. So I don't think that this really has room to go any higher right now. Or if it does, it's pretty risky to buy up here. Right, there's a 200 EMA around 819, 820. If I can go, we'll keep that there. If it pulls back and holds above the 200 and does a 5-minute pullback, maybe, but the 9 EMA is all the way down at 5 right now. Its stock is up 300%. We just reached the end of this window. And it's 6:30. I don't usually trade at 6:30, so the volume is going to be a bit lighter because before 7 a.m. There's a lot of brokers that restrict retail trading. So I'm pretty much gonna stay hands off and see what this does. Just because I'm on early today doesn't mean that I'm necessarily gonna trade before 7 a.m. Especially not when this stock is this extended. So we're just chilling. Gonna drink a coffee and chill out. It's impressive that it hasn't broken below the 20 EMA on the 10-second yet. Right, the best thing to do here is not to get FOMO because it needs a couple of 5-minute pullbacks. So, I mean, although it is forming potentially a pullback on the 1 minute, it's very likely that even if it does come back up, it's going to be a false breakout because it needs to consolidate for a little while. HAO popping up on the scans, but it's too cheap. I'm not even going to look at it. Well, uh, maybe we got some good momentum today because this is skyrocketing up 100% right after NXTC did. Highest volume selling candle is the 10-second there. I don't usually trade stocks these cheap. So it's kind of unfortunate that we just sat down and that we missed this. But maybe it'll hold up and give us another opportunity later around 7 a.m. One thing to clarify about this is that it's pulling back below the 200 on the daily now. I don't really like it when stocks are straddling the 200 on the daily. It's a pretty significant level of resistance. I think this needs to consolidate for a little while and then crawl back up. In the meantime, I'm going to look at the fire heat map in my area again. Make sure my city's not burning down. Yeah, we got a few near Whitefish. fire. Hmm. Well, it is what it is. So this is kind of a 5-minute bull flag. But once again, the problem that I have is that we got 200 EMA. MACD is negative now. 200 EMA is about just under the high of this candle at 828. We did have a 5-minute bull flag work yesterday. This could work, but the other thing that I'm worried about is that it's before 7 a.m., so there's not going to be as much volume as there would be after 7. Yeah, a little bit of a, not quite a false breakout, but a bounce off of that 200 EMA level. We are holding, dropping lower though. This is certainly our most obvious stock. How's HAO doing? HAO dropped, so this is going to be our most obvious stock if it does break through 828. Breaks through there. I'm just giving it time to see what it does because MACD is still negative. Still have the concern that it's not going to have as much volume prior to 7 a.m. And we're still kind of straddling the 200 EMA. like it's not holding. We got what, 13 minutes to 7 a.m. So after this red candle, then we have 2 more 5-minute candles. Potentially. Consolidation. Might see this go at the 7 a.m. spike. If this doesn't, it could form an ABCD pattern, go higher, but still $1 away from 9 EMA on the 5-minute. A logical breakout spot would be above 850 on this 5-minute ABCD pattern now. Doesn't go any lower. 10 seconds until this candle, 5-minute candle closes. And then we have 5 more minutes till 7. So I'm interested to see what it's going to do here in the next 5 minutes. The moment of truth. Does it hold? Does it tank? Looks like it broke the previous low. I was hoping that would hold 760, and then we would get a spike of volume at 7 a.m. It could still curl, but it's just going to be a bit more difficult. So we got 20 seconds, 7 a.m. here. I'm curious if this is going to punch right through the 200 EMA. still negative. Struggling a little bit. MACD is getting close to crossing over. The breaks there. Does it hold? The 10,000 shares seller popping up there for a brief second. Needs to hold. And then the logical breakout spot is 850 being the pivot. There's a 27,000 share seller, 30,000 share seller popping up there on the ask at 8. Refreshing. Yeah, big rejection. That sucks. Hopefully nobody got caught in that. I had my hand on the buy button there. I was waiting to see if it would hold. I could have held the 200 EMA there on the daily. And it probably would have broke through 850. I guess we're just waiting for fresh news now. It'll be a little bit hard to trust after that false breakout. Morning, momentum trader. By the way, if I suddenly go offline today, it's because everything is on fire. So I have a backup plan ready. I got my broker on my phone. So if I get into any trades, then my power goes out, then I can get out of my position. But my whole house smells like a wood fire oven today. There's no fires in my city, but there are a few 30 minutes down the road, and then a ton of them up north. I think my city is probably fine. We have the highways separating us from all of the fires. So it's just there's so many of them that the air quality here is terrible. I went outside last night, like at 11 p.m. when it was dark, and it was like almost 35 degrees Celsius outside, which is not normal. It was like sweltering in the middle of the middle of the night when the sun was down. Okay, Celsius to Fahrenheit. It's like 95 Fahrenheit in the middle of the night. Not quite the middle of the night because, you know, it's 11, but it was dark outside. This is not normal temperature here. Not normal weather. Probably the worst I've ever seen it. So SHPH is popping up a little bit, but we're on the backside of a move here from after hours. 5-6. Don't see any news on it. Seems to be a no news stock. Difficult for me to trust this. Our second leading gainer, but this is definitely struggling a little bit. On the 5-minute, very briefly, it was showing higher volume selling. To topping tails. Backside of the move. No news. Probably just wait for something better. Unless this actually pulls away and proves its strength. It's pretty ironic though. So cold down here in my basement, even though it's super hot upstairs. Ugh. I like it cold when I sleep. I don't like it cold when I'm awake. I normally put the fire, like I have a fireplace behind me, just one of those electric fireplaces you can get from the furniture store. I normally turn that on when I'm down here, but I don't really want to do that right now because it's way hotter upstairs than it is down here. So it seems kind of silly to be turning on a fireplace when we are having our hottest weather ever. Our air conditioner is struggling to keep up, even upstairs. I suppose part of the reason why it feels colder down here is because the air conditioner is constantly running to keep the upstairs warm. So down here is just keeping the coolness a little bit better. NXTC is still our most obvious stock. If it breaks through 850 or even 840, being the peak of this rejection candle, then maybe it could still go higher. MACD is curling positive here. Take a position here looking for the squeeze through. Take some profit up here at 9. I'll just wait to see if it continues to squeeze. Kind of double topping. I'm going to take a little bit more profit. How do we break? No, it's going to take the rest. It's a decent start. Just going to take the rest and wait to see if it can give us another pullback. Maybe a cup and handle up here near high of day. Looks like I sold too soon. Looked like it was going to be double topping. Yeah, that was a nice pop. A big seller popping up there. Well, I'm glad I got the pop from 850 up to 920 there. It looked like it was double topping, so I took the rest. But it turns out I sold too soon. Pops all the way up to 12. little bit unfortunate, but green is good. We're just going for base hits. We're not going for home runs. As long as we can continue stacking up these base hits, and that's what matters. But now we have a huge topping tail, $1 per share topping tail there. Kind of ruins the chart a little bit. So on that trade, the logical breakout spot was 850. We punched through 820 really quickly. I got in at 837 to anticipate the breakthrough 850. Pretty much as soon as, if I had waited until 850, then it would have probably went without me. It would have gotten filled too high. So yeah, this is forming a bull flag pattern right here, but I don't know if I can trust this. These patterns up here haven't been working very well recently. Short sellers have been aggressively shorting off of them, and now we have this topping tail. We're a little bit extended. I think I'm gonna chill out. It does do a false breakout. That was a pretty nice trade. I only took 50 shares, so I'm only taking small size still for a while. Theoretically, since I have a buffer, I could take a bigger trade, like a bigger position on my next trade, since I got some cushion now. But we'll have to see what we get. Any stocks with good news. Otherwise, I just kind of want to protect the profits now. It really depends on what the market gives us. So, gigantic gravestone. On the 5-minute. It's kind of interesting how much market sentiment really matters. Though I've seen this pattern a few times now recently where it's not quite ready, it rejects, and then the next time it pops up, it breaks through the rejection candle and skyrockets higher. Meanwhile, most of the bull flag patterns haven't been working very well because most of the move is happening on the front side as the candles are extending, and then the back side, like when it starts consolidating, it just ends up rolling over. Except for back here, but this was kind of like it was grinding and then it pulled away. And then after it pulled away, it just ended up consolidating for a while. The same thing here. Eventually breaks through, pulls away, just consolidates. Doesn't really do like a 1 minute pattern. When I first started my small account challenge, the 1 minute patterns were doing really well. Now they're not doing well at all. They're rarely appearing or they're just doing false breakouts. So we're just waiting for news to pop up. I'm a little bit tired. Couldn't really get a good sleep. My whole room smelled like burning trees. So this is popping up, but it's too cheap for me at 30 cents. Looking for stocks above $2. Step 30 came and gone. Nothing interesting. So waiting for 7:45, 8. SpaceX dead? No, I didn't. I didn't buy any SpaceX. I was around for the IPO, and I watched the IPO. I was considering getting in for the IPO for its first spike there, but in the end, I pretty much concluded that it was outside of my tolerance, my risk tolerance. With my account size, I'd only be able to buy, what, 10 shares on IPO open? I think it went up to... Yeah, it went up to like 165 or something on the very first day. Drink pre-market, 160. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't very much. Might have got $100 on it, but I wouldn't have held it overnight. It's just I was aware that SpaceX was going to be like this, pretty much. I think this was pretty much as predicted, right? It went up for a few days and then it started coming back down. SpaceX is purely, what's the word? Speculative. And they're not really, like, they're a money burning company right now. So it was a bit overvalued. I knew because of the hype it might go up in the first couple of days, but I'd rather just have my money safe, like my investment safe right now. And whatever money I'm using to day trade is just for day trading. So there's not really, this is kind of in between, right? It's not really an investment. It's not really day trading. It's kind of like maybe a swing trade, which I'm not familiar with. I did watch it because I've never been around for a big historical IPO before. So I was curious what the price action would look like, but it was very slow. Like actually sitting and watching it, it was just moving. It was moving too slow for me to justify jumping in and out with small share size. It would be too difficult. Did you find any success with swing trading? I'm just curious because, I mean, like I've considered swing trading, but I think I prefer day trading because I'd rather limit my exposure risk. Not to mention, you probably have to take bigger size swing trading, right? Like I don't know for sure. I haven't looked into it enough, but I feel like if you're going to be putting in your money for like weeks, then that capital is going to be utilized. So it would have to make a profit or not. Like it would be pretty disheartening if you put your capital in and you let it sit for 4 or 5 days or a week and you don't get anything by the end of it, and that capital was used up the entire time that you could have used for maybe a better opportunity that you see come up. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think I like day trading better, but I can't say that I've looked into swing trading extensively. I've only been around for 11 months. day trading at the end of July here, and we're halfway through July. My 1 year trading anniversary is basically like the 1st of September. I started right at the beginning of September. But I've only really done small cap day trading. I've like briefly looked into swing trading, I briefly looked into large cap trading, and I briefly looked into trading some different strategies at market open. But pretty much settled with small caps. It seems to be what suits me best. You don't need a crazy account size to get started learning. You can just trade with a couple of shares. It's not a big deal. You can limit your exposure risk. I'll clarify, long biased. I prefer not to touch the short side in small caps because of the unlimited liability. Day trading is way better. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not alone in that sentiment. It seems like I don't really see very many people mention swing trading. Like I could just be in a bubble, but I haven't really seen many resources for swing trading or even for like large cap trading. Most of the large cap trading is big institutional firms and like prop firms and stuff, and they all have their own softwares. It's so hard to compete with that. Could just be my opinion, but I've heard it from Ross as well that small caps is kind of like the retail trader space. We're picking up the scraps in the market where big institutional investors and firms and all the other competition just really they aren't really here. You're not competing with algorithms that have been developed by like Harvard professors or you know university students, big huge mathematicians, like well-known mathematicians that are developing these formulae. Small caps just kind of the float's not big enough for institutional investors to be invested to move in and out with large size. So oh, that too, yeah. You're always going to be wondering whether or not stock is up today or down today or what it's doing. Should I cut it? Should I? Yeah, quality of life I'm sure is way better day trading. Like theoretically speaking, I could sit down at 7 a.m. I got my first trade at 7:13 within 13 minutes. I made $1 a share, right? $41 isn't that much, but that's because I only took 50 shares. I mean, if I did like Ross did and I took 10,000 shares or I took 5,000 shares, that'd be $5,000 in 13 minutes, and then I could just shut it off and go about the rest of my day if I want to. I'm not obligated to sit here for 2 hours if I get one trade. If I do a one trade a day rule or a two trade a day rule, and I get one or two trades in a couple of hours, and just go do the rest of your day. Go work on other business projects. or just go live your life. I agree. That's what drew me into trading. It's fun for one, and two, it's if you can make it successful, not like other jobs where you have to be glued to your computer the whole day. At least small cap trading. I see some small cap traders that are like they're the whole day. They cannot miss a single thing. I do think that's a mistake though. Better to trade for a couple hours, turn it off, come back you have time, then come back around power hour, 3:30 until market close, and then you're done. But you don't even need to do the last part. Yeah, I think reviewing trades is important. I review my trades all the time. That's could just be because I'm still new. Definitely don't need to always review trades when I'm more experienced. But I think even Ross still reviews his trades a lot. So it's not like there's no work outside of your trading hours, but it's probably not nearly as much as you would maybe with other strategies, though. There's a couple of traders I have in mind in particular that are like jumping in and out constantly. They have like 100 trades a day. My strategy is more about finding the best quality setup and then taking it and maybe having just a few trades and then being done for the day. But there's some hyper scalpers that are taking like dozens or hundreds of trades a day. And they would have to review for for a long time. I guess it does depend on your strategy too. Yeah, if I guess if you are confident in your strategy, I do think back testing is important in almost all strategies. I think the benefit of small cap trading though is especially if you trade like Ross Cameron, I mean it is already back tested by the community. Like we know it works because other people have done it. Just doing the exact same thing that we're doing, just sitting waiting for news. Good news pops up, you see a pattern, you buy it. As long as you manage your risk. So yeah, I mean, it's not like you need to back test for 6 months, but I think that it's still important for people to back test before they get started with their strategy. Otherwise, they end up in a situation where they don't know, like if they start losing money, they don't know if they're losing money because of the strategy or because of themselves. A lot of people would opt to start strategy hopping, then admit that they're the problem and not the strategy. So I think backtesting is important to get a sense of confidence before going live with real money and then losing your money, and then just hopping around strategy hopping until you lose all your money. But yeah, I guess you don't need to backtest it for like 6 months. Backtesting just depends on how experienced you are and how long it takes. Depends on when you can become profitable enough to be confident you're not just going to start strategy hopping when you lose money. Like me, for example, I backtested in the simulator on stream for 3 months until I was confident. I was like, well, at least like I'm break even, but at least I'm not losing money. Now we go live with real money. Now that I'm confident that I'm not going to at least start losing it, to test if that holds true when emotions are at play. But when I started losing money, so first 2 or 3 weeks going live with real money on stream, I did very well. I had like 75% accuracy and a 3 or 4 to 1 profit to loss ratio. And then for like a month or 2 months, I started losing money. And that's when even me, that idea in the back of my mind, like, is this strategy really successful? Like, am I doing something wrong? That's when that started kicking in. And that's when a lot of people would start strategy hopping, trying to figure out, like, what is going on? Why can't I make money? But it does help knowing that there's people who are trading the same strategy you are. It's a tried and true strategy. So even though I only back tested for like 3 months, I I'm sticking with it. And hopefully we can keep this momentum going. Like, if I don't make another mistake today, then today's another green day. It's almost a full week of green days. I think I had 2 no trade days, and then the past three days where I did take trades have been green. That's good. You're right. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just thinking about why people overcomplicate the process. I think people overcomplicate it because they think that how do I put this into words? It's almost backwards. Trading feels backwards from how you get better at regular, like at a lot of other things. Like if I want to go learn football, effort is going to be the main factor that gets me there. Like if I want to go be a professional athlete in football or golf, practice and effort consistently every day for hours and hours and hours, and learning different techniques, learning all the advanced techniques, learning about positioning, strategy. Like that's normal. But I think with trading, too much thinking is going to be detrimental. I agree. Like if someone overcomplicates it, then you're going to get inside your own head. Effort is good, but it's the type of effort that matters. Like if I were just to sit here and trade whatever is moving, like that's not really good effort. It's disciplined effort is what matters, which is a lot harder. You stick to one thing at a time, you learn that one thing, and then once you're confident with it, then you switch to the next thing that's going to be the most beneficial. And in fact, a good example is the 10-second chart. I mean, I've started just reading based on the 1 minute chart and just taking the 10-second chart as context. Whereas before I would be like zoomed in on the 10-second chart on a lot of these trades, but it was just getting inside my head. It was just adding extra complication that didn't need to be there. Now I'm just looking at the 10-second chart or the 1 minute chart. Does it have a big topping tail or does it not have a big topping tail? Is it closing or is it not closing? If it's about to close and it doesn't have a topping tail, then just zoom in on the level 2. Take the 10-second chart into context. Where, is it bouncing off like where's the 9 EMA? Where's the 20 EMA? What's the volume bars looking? But not as important as I used to make it out. So we're coming up to 8. Hopefully we get some news. I mean, SPRO is popping up, but float is too high. I'm gonna manually type this one in. Yeah, it's too cheap. Float's too high. It's in a window up to $3, but only at 13%. I'm gonna pass on this one. This one's too cheap for me. What's going on with SHPH? Breaking through VWAP again. I mean, the breakout spot would be over 5. But I still have the same problems with it that I had earlier. It is up 64%, but it's no news. Don't know why it's pushing higher here. Previous high was up at 6, so we're still on the backside. I got to pivot up at 523. Well, 520. Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't hold up. So now 8 a.m.'s come and gone. Interesting that it pops up there like that. Sellers are trying to push this one down. Hmm. Doggo's laying in his bed, so comfy, upside down. I don't think I'm interested in SHPH. Seems like it's too choppy. Got a false breakout above that 520 level. My broker is TradeZero Canada. On the left side, my charts are from TradingView. My actual broker is TradeZero. The scanners are Charts Watcher. So I use 3 different programs. Yeah, to execute all my trades, they all go through TradeZero. I have my level 2 tape redacted here because I'm not supposed to stream level 2 data, but all of my orders come through the level 2 screen here. I have hotkeys and stuff, or I can go straight through with load orders. Redact the tape again. One thing I'll clarify about TradeZero is that the reason why I'm using it is because I'm a Canadian. I don't have access to a lot of US brokers because US brokers need to register with a Canadian authority and pay fees to allow Canadian citizens to join their brokers. So I don't have a lot of options. TradeZero is the only option that has decent execution speed in Canada and also has hotkeys and whatnot. The next best one would be Centerpoint, but it requires a $30,000 account size. So I actually wouldn't recommend TradeZero for a lot of US residents. There are probably better brokers than TradeZero for a few reasons. One of them is that TradeZero sometimes lags. The second reason is their commissions are pretty high. The third reason is that they don't have direct access routing for faster execution speed if you use a strategy like I do where you're kind of in and out quickly and your fills matter. So TradeZero only has smart routing, which sometimes can affect your fill speed a little bit. And I also have a few just minor gripes about some of the charting software that I don't use their charting software, and some of the stuff isn't really that customizable. I would prefer. So yeah, I've heard that Charles Schwab likes banning stocks. No, I can't even use Schwab. Like a lot of the brokers in the US, like they're just banned in Canada. Like I can't even use them. So like Lightspeed I can't use, Charles Schwab I can't use. A lot of the bigger companies, US companies, Cobra, Ocean One. Well, Ocean One is Bahamian, but I can't use any of them. Unless they're registered in Canada, I can't use them. So it's it's really unfortunate. If I could move to the US and get a green card, probably would do it. But the best brokers that I know of, um, what is Ross using? Well, Ross uses Lightspeed, but it's a bit of a, it might be a higher commission broker, but I know Lightspeed is good. What is he using right now for a small account? I'm not sure what broker that is. Yeah, it's a little bit hard for me to speak on like what brokers are good or not because I just don't have access to test them. So sorry if I can't help you more. Yeah, there is interactive brokers, but the issue with interactive brokers is that they enforce what's called Rule 144, which means that if I trade a volatile stock that is trading above its normal volume, I could potentially have uh, my position frozen. Like they won't allow me to sell the position. So I could get stuck in a trade because of Rule 144. But that's not really a risk that I want to take. Is having like getting into a stock and then having it frozen while the stock comes down. Like theoretically, even because I'm only trading with small position size right now, I could trade with interactive brokers, but I don't want to get used to a platform that I'm not going to be using in the future if I start sizing up and I start trading with a bit bigger share size, because it might end up being a problem as I start sizing up. My positions suddenly get frozen because of Rule 144. I know that they're a good broker. They've been around for a long time, but that's just a problem with my strategies in particular. If I was trading large caps, I would be trading with interactive brokers for sure, or doing swing trading. But it's a bit of an issue with small caps. The only other broker, like Ocean One, is theoretically available in Canada. But Ocean One is banned in Ontario specifically. Like Ontario just does not allow it. And then there's Questrade. Um, but Questrade doesn't really have right now their main platform. They have a beta platform too, which is still in development. But their main platform doesn't have really customizable hotkeys, and it also doesn't show level 2 halt levels and market resumption after halts. So Questrade has some problems there. I don't know. It just really sucks being in Canada. That's all I'll say. Yeah, we're on hard mode. Trade Zero's it's not bad though. Like even though I wish that I could access some US brokers, Trade Zero's not bad. I'll say that it gets the job done, right? Its commissions are a little bit expensive, but it gets at the end of the day, it gets the job done for the most part. At least it's not banning stocks. So if I had to choose between being able to have direct access routing or, you know, potentially not being able to trade a stock that's going up 300%, yeah, I'll take not having direct access routing. I was hoping that Centerpoint would reduce their minimum account size, but I don't think they are. I think they're keeping it 30,000. Just because the PDT rule changed doesn't mean that brokers are forced to change their account minimums. Check again. Yeah, there's still 30,000. I would love to use Centerpoint when I have a bigger account size, because I know that they do have direct access routing and they're a well-known broker. But yeah, I don't have $30,000 to put into an account. Well, I do, but it's not a good idea at my stage. I'm still learning. That's the way it is, at least for the Canadian branch. I'm not sure if it's the same for their US branch. I thought it was. I'm just checking. Yeah, no, it says that it's 30,000. Yeah, it's too much for me as a beginner to put into a trading account. Right? If I put in $2,000, let's say I suddenly have a spiral day. I don't think I will. Probably won't have a spiral day, but let's say I did, right? At most, right now, my Trade Zero account is $2,100. If I go on a spiral day, the most I could lose is 2,000 bucks. Like, can I recover from that? Sure, I can. That's one paycheck. I still work a 9 to 5. If I put $30,000 into a Centerpoint account and, I lose all of that because I do something stupid, that's a significant chunk of my savings. I'd rather not. I'd rather limit my downside while I'm still learning. But yeah, I would like to trade with Centerpoint if I can, because I know it. I'm pretty sure it's better than Trade Zero. If you can afford the commissions, I think in the US side, Lightspeed, if you use the same strategy that Ross Cameron does and the strategy that I use, I know that Lightspeed has higher commissions if you can afford them. I think they reduced their minimum account size down to $2,000 for a margin account. Um, I think some people use Webull, but Webull might also be banning certain stocks. I don't know if I can recommend Webull either. I mean, LHAI is popping up, but it's a bit too cheap for me. GMEX popping up, really low float. The news is just a letter of intent. Up 40%. I don't usually like news for letters of intent because it doesn't mean that they're going to acquire. So I'm a little bit worried that this is going to reject up here, as it does. Oh yeah, you're right. Popped up after hours and failed. A little bit of a garbage stock. 400,000 peak. It's coming back up again, but I don't think I can trust this. Looks like it just has a history of popping and dropping, popping up and selling off. So I think I'm good. It'd be surprising to me if this actually holds up. I see a 10,000 share seller at 270. 17, 18,000 share seller pushing it down. Yeah. Refreshing up here. 40. So with this, 830's come and gone. And we don't really have anything interesting to watch right now. NXTC has just been, it's holding the 20 EMA. It has a bit possibility of curling back up, but probably not until market open. My duck's so funny. He's upside down with his paws in the air. Every morning he follows me down here so he can sleep in the bed. So, I mean, a theoretical breakout spot on this would be above 140 here on the stock, but the combination of a lower price, bit of a higher float, 8 million, it's not too high, but it would move too slowly for me to get in. 10 seconds left on that 5-minute candle close. So it could retest the highs here. I just don't like the risk reward. And pops up 10 cents. What I expected. Could still push higher. A lot of volume. 1,000,000 shares of volume, but can push through with 2,000,000 shares of volume, then I don't know. A grind. Pushing a little bit higher. I think I'd rather just wait for something better. Just playing the waiting game. But yeah, we're kind of in an odd middle ground for market sentiment. It's like we just passed that hot cycle where the Chinese stocks were going crazy. Not quite cold, but we get like one or two opportunities a day that end up doing really well. They pop up a couple 100%, and then the rest of the day is just kind of dead. We have NXTC curling back up again. I don't know if I'm interested in it down here. Is pretty far away. It's also getting a little bit more expensive. I'm gonna have a pivot. 1042. I was hoping we'd get more action today. Usually a good sign when you have a stock pop up 300% right at 7 a.m. Because then traders are going to be feeling FOMO for the rest of the day. But there's not even really anything for traders to feel FOMO on. Everything that's popped up has really been that great. I mean, if we break 956, we might get more opportunities on NXTC. 956 was the high of the very first pullback. It's a proven level of resistance now since it's touched quite a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now more recently. $9.56 to 10.42, and then 10.42 up that reclaim all the way up at 12.30. This is a pretty significant gravestone doji though. A lot of selling up here. I usually don't like trading curls though. I like trading on the front side of the move. NDRA. I don't see news on it. I suppose the reason why people are looking at this is because of these daily breakout levels above 680. But this isn't a particularly nice looking stock either. Couple minutes to 9 a.m.
So this is moving somewhat quickly here. Minute left on that 5-minute candle. This is going to break through 956. Doesn't seem like it's going to. UBXG. It's a bit more expensive. Don't see the news yet. Wow. Nasty. From 11 all the way down to 750. And back up to almost 10. Volume is still extremely light, which is the reason why. Breakout is of 13 on the daily. 1288. I don't see what the news is on this. That's what it seems like, yeah. Volume was super light. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 shares, 20,000 shares. Why does it say LGHL is up 800%? Oh, because it had a recent reverse. It just had a reverse split right now. Is this the right stock? Yeah. Hmm. NXTC trying to curl again. I mean, once again, above 956, maybe it's interesting. Getting big sellers popping up every time it pops up there. It's already past 9. I doubt we're going to have more news at 9:15. I guess if we get any more opportunities, probably just depends on what NXTC does. Tune is popping up. But it's too cheap and its float is too high for me. Also, right below the 9 EMA and the 200 on the daily. Good. I'm going to leave UBXG alone for now. The bots can trade that one. So we have this rejection candle up here. If it breaks through and goes through 956, this could actually pull away. That's rejecting. Creeping up. It's really astonishing that this is continuing to go up anyways. Looks like Ross took a trade on this, but that looked scary to me. It was like a big red candle there for a brief moment. He was down like 50, 60, 75 cents a share in his main account. He held until it came back up. I think I'm good on that one. I don't really want to jump into a position when the volume is only 40,000 shares. On the previous candle. Right? Yeah. I feel like I'd have trouble trusting the stock. That I wouldn't touch it even with a 10-foot pole here. I feel like the bots are just trying to lure me in because like we have this topping tail from 11 all the way down to 750. We have another topping tail from 10 all the way down to 9. And then we have another rejection right here. Now we're rejecting again. Ross took another trade on it and lost a little bit more. Basically break even on this stock now. Yeah. I think I'm good. Oh, they're really trying to lure me. The FOMO. The FOMO. If it breaks through 11, it's a Chinese stock. It could go up to 15. It could go up to 20. Yeah, Ross got burned on it finally. Yeah, you're right. It could go up to 15, but it could also go down to 2. Watch, this will be the next stock that goes up 300%. What's this? QXL popping up at 915. IT. Doesn't seem to have any volume right now. So, I mean, this is potentially going to retest high of day here, but do I really want to touch this stock? Get burned? I don't think so. We're almost coming to the end of the day here. It is up 72% up here, but I'm watching this. It's still really light volume. And I don't really like how it's every time it pops up to 1110, 11.15, it gets pushed back down by sellers. To me, it looks like there's a seller up here that's just pushing it back down. Okay, well, if it comes back up, it does look more interesting now. Got a bottoming tail there being bought back up from 10.50. Still think that this isn't the right stock to trade, but I will admit that if it does break over 11.15, 11.20, then it could break through that flat top. But I just feel like instinctually that it's not. MACD's negative now. 8 minutes till market open. It feels like there's a hidden seller up there. We'll see what happens, but I think my gut instinct on this is just not to touch it. Ross is in a trade right now. He's been in a trade since it popped up here for a few minutes. An 85 cost basis. Nice job. I don't think I'm experienced enough to find a good spot to get in for a scalp. I mean, I could theoretically buy a 10.50, I guess. Could have bought down here, but it's kind of scary. I'd rather just do one or two trades a day, getting the best setups. She knows. My nose has been bothering me because of all this wood smoke. It's the smell. Got just a minute to market open. I'll watch what NXTC does for a little while. But if nothing interesting happens, then I'm just gonna hop off. Probably. We'll give it a few minutes, see what it does, but I'm a bit tired because I woke up early. Everything smells like burning today. Nose is itchy. We already got a decent trade for the day. We'll see what this does here, but I'm not really confident that I'm going to take any more trades today. We'll see. 30 seconds. I make it a rule not to trade the first 3 minutes of market open because my broker lags. But it very well could break through 956 here and go into a halt up. Bounce off of 880, which is the 20 EMA on the 5 minute. Pulse all the way up at 1079. Just got some room. A big seller popping up on the level 2 there. At 890. Getting pushed down. That's a nice scalp. Looks like for now it's just going lower. Yeah, it's pulling back a little bit far. It is pretty scary. This might be a red to green move, actually, potentially, above like $9, or even down here, above 880, 885. Could be a red to green move. But it looks like it's rejecting. If it double bottoms and comes back up, then it could do a red to green. Hey Bass, thanks. Have a good one, Bass. Yeah, the 200 EMA on the 10-second is above 893. So if it breaks 893, I think this would be a candidate for a red to green move. If it holds, it's got to hold up. Bouncing off of 840. I see there's a seller that keeps popping up. I think the stock is actually easy to borrow on some brokers, so that could be an issue. One thing I'm curious about, if it does break above 890, does it go immediately or does it like do a false break? Yeah, it goes immediately. Okay. One thing that I've had with red to green moves in the past is that sometimes they break and then they only go up like 10 cents and then they do a false break and then the next time they come up, when they come up for the third time, the second or third time, that's when they go. But this time it just broke straight through up to 10. So, I mean, if I was fast enough, I could have taken that trade. The obvious breakout spot was above 890. But I think with that gigantic rejection up here at 956, I think I'm just going to leave it alone and call it a day. I think we got the easiest money trade for today. There weren't really any other opportunities today that really screamed to me they were good. If I wasn't still learning, then I probably could have added to the position on NXTC and made a little bit more money on bigger share size. But we're just trading 50, 100 shares right now. We got $1 a share out of it. I think we did all right. The only thing I'll say is that I did sell a little bit early on it. I think it went up to 12 in that push. I held it for a minute, and it looked like it was double topping, but I ended up pushing up to 12. So I don't know if that was the right decision or the wrong decision. I will say that we got our base hit for the day. Everything else has been pretty choppy. So you feel the same way? Yeah, I'm glad I'm glad we agree on that. I'm not the only one that feels that way. I think Ross, like if you look at Ross Cameron, I had his stream up on the side a little bit, and he only made money on NXTC. He tried trading a couple of other stocks, like he tried trading UBXG earlier, and he lost on it. He lost $5,000 on it. He tried trading another one that popped up, and he lost a few $100 on it. But I think UBXG or NXTC, this stock earlier on in the move, probably the only safe option today. But yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow. Thanks for everyone that stopped by today. Take care, Momentum Trader. Take care, Kadira. And stay green, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.